Well, his name was Andrew Michael Goch Conybeare, but Drew, as he was known to most of us. He was a man of quiet strength, dry humor, and deep integrity. He valued substance over attention and responsibility over recognition. He observed more than he spoke, listened carefully, and acted with care. Qualities that shaped his life, his work, and his relationships. Those qualities live on most clearly through his sons, Alan and Michael. We've come all the way from, Alan came from the UK and Michael's living in Australia. They're over here. And obviously, Barbie, who's good to see you. And through the many lives he influenced, simply by being who he was. Today is not, this is a time for family, friends, and colleagues, all of you guys, and we're also streaming this live, is to come together and to remember, the work he devoted to his deep respect for the natural world and the quiet impact he made over more than 8 decades. So it's basically for all of us just to remember him as to who he was. Most amazing man. And I'd ask if we could just have like 1 minute of silence while we remember him. Thank you much. The facts and events we know about you are one story. However, I'd like Alan and Mike to come up here and to give us some more information. Well, not information, but tell us the full story about Drew that maybe most of us here aren't aware of. You guys come up, thanks. This is Michael. The other one's Alan.
So my dreams currently come to release my side. The second and the concept of it again, we set up there in my race to try. Mike.
Not quite the setting that we had planned, but thank you so much, so many people to turn out and celebrate my dad. Dad, Drew, if you called him, you detect the microphone and throw a message, so can't hear you on the chin. Yeah, so if you called him me, but officially Andrew Michael of Conybeare. Yes, I did emphasize the Michael. I think I was the favorite child. Not sure. Youngest child syndrome. Yes, he was born in Scotland on the 3rd of December 1944 to Vernon and Mary Conybeare. Schooled as a boarder in the UK while his parents slowly made their way south, living in Portugal, Egypt, Sudan, Northern Rhodesia, all working for BOAC, which are British Airways, as they built their network before the parents called Rhodesia home. Dad then continued his schooling in Salisbury before being politely asked to go on and complete his A-level somewhere else. Yes, there was a rebel there, for sure. So he did his final year at Gilbert Rennie in Lusaka, worked in various farming roles after school, before going to Conybeare Agriculture College, Course 17 in 1965. Graduating with a first class diploma. Yep, he's a rebel, but a little bit smart. Farming and working for the Rhodesian Commercial Farmers Union was fun, and I think he enjoyed it, but the lure of the bush took him to join national parks in 1968. After many adventures as a ranger at Matobus and Main Camp, he was offered the opportunity to go to university in Salisbury to study botany and zoology, graduating in 1966 with first-class honors. Told you, he was quite smart. That was the journey that led him to become a doctor of philosophy, having completed his PhD studying the effect of elephant on vegetation in Wangi National Park. Dr. Drew. Something us boys took great glee into ripping the mickey out of him all the time about being a doctor. But in reality, we're extremely proud of what he had done. The body of work is just amazing, and the adventures along the way is just mind-blowing. Even little part that he lets kids joy in a school holiday. We, as kids growing up, we saw something that not many kids see. That with dotting, collaring elephants, and we got to go along one time, and unfortunately that time the dart didn't go in fully, and so this elephant woke up a little bit early from the tranquilizer, sending us all bombshelling into the bush. We went and helped Dad reintroducing some black rhino that had been moved from minor pools, and we watched as a relocated and freshly coloured black rhino rammed an unsuspecting tourist car at Chumba. We were on the ground in the middle of an elephant cull, standing behind Tim Paulette and Clem Coetzee in the Gonozor. What a privilege. Dad was also a pilot. One of our lasting memories was my brother and I, probably aged 8 or 10, sitting in a Super Cub. There's a 2-seater plane, but there were 3 of us in the plane that day. And we had a small altercation with the tree landing Chumba and sent us off into the bush. To go and see, were pretty good pilots, and I always enjoyed flying with him. So many stories I could go on, but the bar calling, so I'll keep it short.
Wil je gaan weer gaan? Were you part of that journey with Mama? Bobs, Barbara, Rob?
They went out for 4 years before my dad made an honors for her in 1969 and took her out of the bank in Salisbury for horseback patrols in Wangi National Park. Quite the juxtaposition.
Well, they had some time with their hands, I guess, because not too long after that, along came Alan and Mike.
We had an amazing childhood, first in Nikki and then in Lake Hall. Name was Bing. Before the family moved to Harare, the dad taking up the helper, so certainly not his favorite role he have had. The state of Zimbabwe in the 90s meant that Ellen made the tough decision to follow in families overseas. And our relationship with our parents has been one of long distance. Lots of calls, texts. Okay, might you text with my dad? Might you chatted to dad on the phone? Would have realized it was military-esque, short and to the point. To his credit, as he aged, he became more open to aimlessly discussing the misfortunes or the fortunes of the Wallabies and his beloved Springboks. We had some great family holidays in the UK, Australia, South Africa, and of course, right here in Victoria Falls. Dad loved literature. I think summed up by his ability at a mature age mature age, trying to cross the running globe on his annual bill for last year. Andrew had some health challenges of late, which to be honest he made pretty close to his chest, but he's seen in great cheer coming into the Christmas period. He spent a great day with the Trenchards and a number of our friends on Christmas Day, and I thank you all so much. Oh, no. But we'll come to terms with that. All said, he lived an amazing life as a husband, a father, an uncle, colleague, and a friend to so many through so many chapters of his life. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who played part in making his life so amazing. It'll be cheap forever. Especially that is one of his favorite spots, the Victoria Falls Boat Club. Love you, Dad. I just want to do a few thank yous. Some of me have been amazing. Have all come together. Fantastic. It's been overwhelming. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming out today. And those of you that are joining online, yeah, appreciate it. We're all getting a bit on, and it's not as easy as once was. Yeah, some people have come from all the Marari, so yeah, Mom, Bragg, think we that ended yeah. So and Bond, my cousin Bonds, thank you so much. So really, the person I really want to thank is Rand. He's this guy that I rang when we suddenly realized that Dad had gone incognito for a little longer than normal. And I rang Brent, and he answered the first time, which I was honestly on the off. But anyway, he answered, and I think he probably regrets it. But he's been an absolute monster. I mean, he was down in the house 3 minutes, or sorry, 5 minutes later. And yeah, he called me in a few minutes out. I run and said he gave us a new, theory for the laughing, obviously one and then he's been back in call. He's been super proactive on everything, and it really has been absolutely incredible. As you'll know, or some of you'll know, we grew up with friends. The Westerns are running the name, bang, bang. I think there's going to be more cover on this, so I'm going to draw on that. So move along. Bring it, dude. Awesome. So I don't know where with it. This was on. Hopefully they can hear us now. But Wayne was our man for a while, and he's the man. So yeah, thank Wayne. Several thank you. He jumped in how bent when he dealing with things, got believed. Brent the fairly carelessly wrote the lock, and the star say the day he basically preserved. There's more valuable than they. So, Shane Ziri, thank you so much for having us. Putting us out of being at home to us. Home from home has been amazing. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. Lent us one of their pickups, and Mike's right hand man, who's been absolutely awesome. Tuli, the bees worker, we've been sort of working along Dad's. What did Dad call him? Math. Yeah, he's moving a little, I'd say. But anyway, the truck to settings off to the tip. And Mike be laying up the truck, and guys been putting more stuff off the truck. That is the chance, but anyway, we're dressing too well. Sumo and Total, thanks so much. Yeah, you guys they've been absolutely phenomenal. We nicknamed her our conscience. She's been keeping us on straight and narrow and making sure that all stuff gets the right places and the right people to do the better for the community. The brother. Shale and Roy, Van Royen, thank you very much. They'll be helping us do the clearing stuff so that just to help all and appreciate in putting in. So Dean, thanks for the food and stuff, and also so the awesome. Nicole and Nicole Junie and this Baker, thank you for the printing, like the very Canada and the .com. So hopefully, yeah, we're disorganized. Break, stuff. Yeah, and Glass, Karama, thank you all supplying all the stuff for us. Kathleen, the element. The my country's been crazy. It's just been amazing. Thanks so much for your help and allowing us to use studio. Thanks. There's interesting. Thanks for super all your help trying to house. We hope that's that. It's a cool little doctor if anyone's interested in getting a pet. He's a cool dude. And the police were really amazing. And so this is going to be a trick one. Detective Zanda. Oh my god. Humble and poverty, but he's been awesome, super helpful. And the guy said, me and Lucky also have been awesome too. So, yeah, if you end up in a important position of we'd be, that could be odd. Roy, thanks for helping me sort out the gate. Mike and I have had a bit of a challenge with the gate. Make the malfunction that second one, we sort out it. Roy came in, rocking the rock, the governor, all sorted, awesome. Des, thanks for the Des. Doug Boys, community, you guys are seen many that thank you so much for this. We'll be more about that in a little bit. Yeah. Just two other things, he's been years now, and friend, regular teas and whatnot. Cadbury has been, of course, some community, been like with the support of Dad and the wider sort of golden oldies of this community. Thank you very much. Chris, thank you so much for volunteering to jump in a minute. And really look forward to hearing what people say. And not leave, we will say everyone. Thank you to our Son and Jules and boys, next generation of the project. Matty, Satan, Ollie, and G, all your sport, and the evening going back on the home front. Yeah, and deep apologies if I've missed anybody. Really appreciate all the love and support you guys have all shown us. It's been amazing. Yeah, we are unbelievably humble. So thanks for. Thank you.
That was awesome. And I know what it's been you guys have to deal with. We are going to pass on into a little bit of humor because, as you all know, as much as Drew had a professional life where he was astute and but there's also a relatively large wild side to him, which you really need to hear about. So we're going to hand this over to. He's going to give us some anecdotes of his exploits.
Thank Brent. Right, to Littleton, Steve Woods. Today we gather to celebrate the life of Drew Conybeare, a man who embodied kindness and purity and passion. An old school gentleman who was a guiding light in our life, leaving an indelible mark on all we knew him. As I dedicate find the rank and feel when senior researcher. Earning his honors really on the way. His love for all of the environment contained, driving him tirelessly in her case for conservation. Drew's great fried what's that animal? His two daughters, now men, who lived there. His legacy lives on through and countless ideas. His work on elephant project and aerial survey is groundbreaking. With the heart of his mentorship and his quiet strength truly made of a leader. I had the village of worrying under Drew, and lessons I learned from him are treasures of character to him. From butler to elephant POCs, a late night campfire chat, tea, and Jim and Orange, would persist to mix. Our memory of our church. It's fake saying, now let's separate the name from the boys. All errors. With me, I was often the boy. Drew's spirit lives on in the wild space he loved and hearts for those that he did. Arthur Lee Howell, Barry Duckworth, the late great Kerry Finn, Richard Finn, Basil Williamson, Dale Pellew, Drew Walker, Wilson dearly, but it didn't like to echo to Parliament forever. Rest in peace, Drew. Couple anecdotes. Drew studied for his PhD, recidive of frost, in Wangi on brow of But only Drew would conduct his research in the Det Vlei, the coldest place in Zimbabwe in winter, temperatures reaching -15 degrees. Drew Conybeare great. If he ever wondered what fear of flying looks like, it was Drew's faith every time he was a passenger in a small, because he abhorred the smell of anger. But the guy conquered his fear the only way he could, by becoming a pilot. Now that's what you call them. I recall him flying for miles in Botswana to Aylwood in a Super Cub tracking an elephant. They got lost, and then they realized, but they ran out of fuel and had to land at Quanti. They spent 3 nights there waiting for Redkey to arrive with some fair updates. But we had elastic Jim and Orange to keep him sane. From Dave Bowler. Drew and Dave took a little inflatable and 5 horsemen into the park, with an intent of just rest up to what Johnny on the and being out the park for dark. Needless to say, the little oaster gave up, and they were very merrily downstream. When they finally reached the shoreline, Doc, and they had no idea where they were. Bear in mind the bottle of Johnny with now history, and the desired effect had them wandering around in the dark looking for the road that follows the river. After hours of bumbling around, they came up within hearing the river. Lo and behold, on wake up, at first light they discovered the river running in the wrong direction, right to left instead of left to right. They were in Zambia. In the meantime, alarm bells ringing in Victoria Falls when neither had turned up at home that night. The next morning, Drew's pickup was found on the riverbank. Nash Parks put together a search party, and Dave Glenn's organising an air search with shearwater helicopters. Drew and Dave were now sober, and with a lot of tinkering, started the boat and headed back to Zimbabwe before they were arrested. To sum up a much longer story, these officers were summoned by the warden and made to pay fines for illegally launching boats in the park and taking the night and non-holidays at the camp. Both had ratters, torn clothing, and Dave was missing a shoe. In conclusion, Drew's second office was the Waterbuck-headed pub and main camp. I attended many birthday and farewell parties there in the early 80s. The one notable party was someone down they and decided to slam all over, including young lady. The Barney decided to turn off the great deal, great cricketers they were. The last light on, Drew's side to throw the bottle, and the last light turned off until the bottle smashed on the ground at the end of the bar, and the light came back on. We bathed, got rid of it, and the next morning the vivid warden Boyd recalled all movement near heroin. We thought young be fine, but Drew intervened and said, "These young range are full of testosterone. Let them be. What a gentleman. God on living."
Thanks so much, Chris. Love that stuff. So I'm going to go to some messages because we've been basically inundated with the messages on various platforms. And I've tried to summarize it so that we don't have to win the kill day while I read them out. The first one is Bill Halls, worked till 72 and off till 1980. They make contact linked up as often as possible. Sincere condolences, Mike and Alan, and their families. There's direct cover professionally and whatever RPG. Children Ross Hangmada, who most of us may remember. Hello, Ross and I are truly sad to have used. He was a legend in his own right and was a cool park guy, down to earth, practical. He and Bobby were a very interesting team in the old days. Go well, Drew. Thomas catching up on all of us. All of the best, the Duggaways clan. Williamson clan, not sure who they are. We live next door to Drew and his family from the 70s, and from those years, a close friendship grew between our families. Our fathers worked together in the research department of the parks, forming a long and deeply relationship mirrored by the circle bond between Bobby and Pibbs as neighbors and friends and party, whatever. Friendship only marked by the consumption of their last homebrew beer bat by the demonstrat. I have no idea what they're talking about. We shared many years, experiences, and memories together, and the Conybeares remain an important part of our family story. You will be remembered with great affection and respect. Deepest condolences, and Mike and Bobby. Big love. Roll to talk. To compulsive stress my deep on this deep. If not only you will have known Jews and Fox says that worked with several years. We have taken decisions for several years and an oral contract. Technical cooperation to coordinate rhino conservation for state rhino IDZs. That was a tough role for him compared to the less depressing role in building rhino populations and product conservancy at his counterpart TCR. I was always a fan of professional Drew did what he could under declining circumstances. He maintained standards while also maintaining diplomacy. Solid consolation is about also a realist, and also a little bit about to become flying from him. I think that's something with it too. And the ball van der Heiden. We are deeply saddened to enforcing our hearts go out to Bob, Alan, and Michael and their families. We have such great memories of Drew from our time in the parks. His kindness, his passion for conservation, and his sense of adventure. He was a true gentleman and an inspiration to many. Drew's legacy lived on, can't life, and the incredible work he did in protecting the Bob natural beauty. We will always remember him with love and respect. Please accept our sincerest condolences and deepest sympathy. Steve Edwards, who was nicknamed Boy, because he was like when we arrived in Maine and was reporting. Words of Drew, a true friend, a teacher, a confidant, the perfect conservationist, the damn fine gentleman, and the drinking partner who used to throw the gin bottle away. True, buddy, you showed me how to separate the back in 72. It was an honor to know and work with you. MYERIP. Nick, fond memories of Darting Elephant Mangi with Drew and Pete Mitchell in the early 80s. Such a knowledgeable and altogether nice man. And you, Arnhem. And I are devastated to hear the news about Drew. He and Bob were our best mates when I was warden. We also saw a lot of it when I went to the falls, he will be sadly missed, and I love condolences to Mike, Alan, and the rest of the family. Colin Walensky, I met an incredible couple at main camp, Drew and Bob. Made me feel so welcome in the department. I was just an happy cinema-teller for all of us that knew him. I know we will always miss him. Trance, Bragg, and John Cathcart. When Kath and I married in 1973, her mother booked us in Wangi for the honeymoon. We arrived at main camp late afternoon after the wedding in Bulawayo, and there was no booking. I didn't have much money, and I just resolved to drive back to Bulawayo, and Kath looked across the reception into a rowdy gang of parks getting smashed. Unusual in those days. Let's first have a drink. Well, Conybeare was one of the rowdies who spotted me. The party was on, a magnum of champagne, and suddenly we had the best lodge. Good old Drew. Jane Mackey. Thanks, Thelma. Drew certainly lived a full life. So sorry I won't be able to go to the falls for his memorial. I remember so well driving to Teresa with Bobby, Ellen, and Mike in '76 when I first met Charlie. Charlie was camped in Babette and Tony's garden, and Bobby and Liz Martin were driving back from Aurora. Drew and Rowan were so dedicated as well as having a lot of fun. Best regards to Ellen and Mike. Doug Lake. Sorry to hear this, a good man. We had many laughs with us at the Plumtree functions. Quiet gentleman, condolences to Ellen, Mike, and the rest. And Bob. Murray Mitchell, sorry to see the sad news. Our condolences to the family and his friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with you all. Drew was such a gentleman, and I have great memories of his stories whenever we got together. Also, Margie Mitchell, sincere condolences to Drew's family. Ken and Leslie Thompson. Oh dear, sad news. Drew and I joined the department on the same day. He will be sadly missed by all who knew him. R.I.P. Drew, he fought a good fight. Buried in heaven. Condolences to Drew's boys and extended families, and none of the great conservationists that got gone to the big campground in the sky. R.I.P. Vanessa Stevenson, Nia Finn. Sad news, well loved, and Dad remembers him fondly. Our condolences to Alan and Mike. Sarah Finn, we all know the family, awesome. Drew and Bobby, films were the first people Kerry and I met on arriving at Wangi, main camp. The week we joined Parks in 1970. So many funny, sad, scary, warm, hair-raising, and wonderful times together over the years. Drew's bright blue eyes, and quiet grin, not gin, will stay with us always. With love, Sarah, Tamsin, Bongs, Nikki, Melissa, and Alex at all. We've received many messages remembering Drew as a kind, genuine, and deeply respected man, a gentleman, a supportive colleague, and a true conservationist. Our thanks and condolences come from friends, neighbours, former colleagues, and members of the wider community, including Lynn Hayes, Alma Fudd, Liz Reese, Roy Jones, Catherine Johnson, and the Johnson family who were back on their neighbours. Laurie Ellen Fay, Catherine Dover, Paula Cooper, Cocky Beneke, Mike LaGrange, Gail Amiot, Tura and Smith, Smithy Balance, Norman Monks, Russell Taylor, Steve Apple, Mel Judney, Rodwell Erasmus, Karen Carter, Jim Mackey, Desmond Yaswald, Russell and Lynn from Betty's Bay, Dolph Sassine, and Titch Makalisa. We'd like to thank them all for all the messages and for all the messages that have been coming through, and I'm sorry if I've missed any, but it's been pretty hectic trying to compile them now. Anyway, so basically, the messages that we received have reflected the life of what Drew did and the influences that he had on everybody's lives here. I'd like everybody to get a drink and a toast to Drew. I'd like to mention that I did do the weather report scan, and they said that there was 0 chance of precipitation this afternoon. So thank you very much. God, I love those guys. Yeah, I think it's Drew's influence. He's like, bugger that. Let's get these buggers all inside and let's get some humor. Where is gin bottle without the cap? Okay, guys, we're going to wrap this up now. So I'd like to thank Chris very much for his anecdotes. Those were awesome. Alan, Michael, Barbie, love you guys deeply. You're amazing, and really sorry for your loss. Yeah. It's hectic, yeah. Hold on a second. Give me a moment. Basically, Drew gave us his time, his intellect, his amazing personality, and he will be well missed. He not only as a legend, is a legend, and there's a lot of big love from everybody as I can see. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming. We all love you. Thank you.